Welcome, everybody, to the Cruz Report. This is episode number 3. I've got here with me Mr. Filip Vlasic, who is the owner of Creative Brands and our only sponsor at this time. And I'm going to share with you why before we get into who Filip is. I met Filip. He was a customer of ours in cards. He was getting into card breaks and things like that. We did a couple little poker games afterwards where... You know, it went well for a while until it didn't. We had a guy run up a tab. That's a whole other story for another day. But if I remember correctly, you kind of just hit me up and was like, man, have you ever thought about doing a podcast? And I literally was like, it's probably sitting in my bed in my underwear. I was like, oh, shit, I have. Yeah. So this has been a long time coming. We were at another location. I just didn't have the room. Once I had the room here, I hit you back up and said, hey, man, because Filip, out of the kindness of his heart, all of this equipment and all of this stuff, man, he supplied Creative Brands, and his brand is supplied for us out of the kindness of his heart. This guy's never made $1 off me. He's never done I've never done anything for him, to warrant this. So I want to thank you tremendously, man. None of this will be happening without you and without Creative Brands.
Yeah, man. A lot of times, like for me, whenever you see, let's call you a star.
Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Whenever you see
you
somebody,
tell my wife that, dude.
Wendy,
I'm a star, baby. I made it.
Whenever you see somebody that has a lot of skill and a lot of talent and is a people person and is not afraid to talk and is not afraid to communicate and interact with people, man, that's hard to come by.
Really?
That is very hard to come by. I mean, that's why, you have a few celebrities and everybody else is just a blue collar worker, right? So. But when you have that type of talent where you can just communicate, and like I mentioned earlier, you have a way with words that a lot of people don't. And me coming from another country, like when I hear that type of thing, I'm like, oh, I never would have thought about that. Wow, that's so cool.
It is so crazy because it's just natural to me. So I understand it, but then again, I don't because it's just how my brain is wired. It just goes. You know what I mean?
And the incredible thing to me is when I hear that type of like alliteration or like the quick quips and things like that. That's what people in the industry are really forward in. Like they're very good at it. And honestly, I'll remember the first break that I did with you all, and I was invited by a guy named Justin. And you kept calling him Vander.
Oh, Justin Van. Yes, that's who invited you.
His actual name is Justin Van Divender.
He's
from West Virginia. This whole
time I've called him Justin Vandy Vander.
Yeah.
This whole time.
And he actually lived in West Virginia, where I'm from.
Really?
Yeah. And the way that I met him was in another break group called Savage.
I know Savage Breaks. I remember that 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, man, have you ever checked out Breaking the Case? I was like, no. And he said, you got to check it out. So that first night, I hit a Joe Burrow turn of the century auto.
Dude, that's freaking awesome.
And I stayed ever since.
That's awesome, man. And we were talking the other day. I couldn't remember what brought you in because people come from, on our Facebook group, it's private. So you have to be invited by somebody, or you have to be able to find it and get in that way, just to keep all the other stuff out of it. But
shout out to Justin Van Divender.
Van Divender. That's the first time I've ever said your name right, sir. So you mentioned being foreign. You mind diving a little bit into like kind of your childhood all the way to the point where you get to the U.S.?
Yeah. So I was born in Serbia, which is right across from. You have Italy. And then the Adriatic Sea, and then Croatia and all that area, and then Serbia, which is former Yugoslavia.
Okay.
And in '94, I was born in 1983.
Me too. And we're 41.
Yeah.
September.
August.
Shut up. You're my elder.
Anyway, and I was born in '83, and my dad worked for the United States Embassy in Belgrade, Serbia. He got his English degree in university and got the job, and he was considered a foreign national. In '94, there was a civil war going on.
I remember that.
And President Clinton wanted all foreign nationals in United States. So we were given airplane tickets, visas, all the things to come over and start a life in the United States.
Did you know that was happening as a kid, or was it one of those boom moments?
No, I didn't really know.
So you just one day
all.
you're like, we're going to America, guys.
Yeah. One day my dad just said, all right, we're packing up. My dad went about several months before us, just so you can find a job and things like that.
Yeah.
My mom packed 10 bags, and my brother went as a foreign exchange student a year ahead. And my mom packed 10 bags, and me and my little sister, she was 6 years old, I was 10, and put us on a bus, and we went to the United States.
That's crazy, man.
It was absolutely insane.
Culture shock for you guys, or?
So, like, first of all, I grew up in the city of 2 million people, and we literally grew up in the middle of the city, and it was always loud. Like at nighttime, it was loud. Traffic. It's like New York. It didn't sleep.
Wow.
So I moved to Filip, West Virginia, the home of Alderson Broaddus College, and it was 2,000 people.
Oh boy,
bro! I could not sleep for like a month straight. Like they had
Just
to turn the radio on. Yeah, they had to turn the radio on. They had to do all of these different things just so I can get some sleep. It was mind-numbing.
It's so crazy because I would never think of that. I've lived in small towns, I've lived in big towns, but I've never lived overseas. Like just that difference in lifestyle, difference in everything.
Very, very, very much different. Yeah.
So you move here. Obviously, we fast forward to this moment. I would consider you highly successful, somebody that I look up to. Where do you think that journey started for you?
So I really think that the like the business journey started for me when I saw my brother and my dad. My dad, I consider him a businessman. He was what you call a diplomat, but he wasn't the ambassador. He was actually second in command for Social Security Administration abroad. So like you lost your visa, you lost your passport, you got robbed. You would go to the U.S. consulate and you would see my dad
to try to prove that you're an American, get back over. Okay,
that's right. So he was considered a businessman. My brother's a businessman. My brother, he worked in the oil and gas industry. He lives in Houston, Texas.
So he's balling.
So he's doing pretty good. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. And I really felt like I wanted to go in his footsteps. I got to college. And I went to business school, and I failed 3 classes my first semester of college.
Oh boy.
And so second year comes around, I got to make a decision. What am I going to do?
Right.
So I say, you know what? I really love art. I love creating. I love painting, drawing. I love welding metal, things like that. And I love computers. I love technology. Tech is my thing.
Clearly, if you guys haven't seen this, it is high tech.
Like my camera equipment from, you're spending thousands of dollars because I just love tech. So I decided to go into graphic design, and I got my fine arts degree in graphic design. Couldn't find a job.
Well, it's such especially back then, because you're talking, so we're the same age, so 01, 02?
Yeah.
So you went to college in 01, so you'd like 04, 05.
So I went to college in 03,
Gotcha.
And I graduated. I was a 5-year plan.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Whatever.
I spent 5 years of my junior year in college. It was the best 5 years of my life.
So I couldn't find a job, and there's this one lady. She's a really good friend of mine. Her name is Kelly Steele. Shout out to Kelly. She is the executive director of the Putnam County Visitors Bureau. Anyway, and she gave me my first job. She hired me to do a logo for this company called USBPT. Still don't know what it stands for. Doesn't matter. She gives me the job. I design a logo, and I charge her. And I charged her I think it was like $600 for this logo.
Yeah.
And that was huge for me back then.
Oh, yeah.
I just straight out of college, didn't have a job, nothing. So she says, Filip, what is the company name? I was like, I don't know. So I made something up, and I made up Classica Studios. I have no idea what that means. It doesn't
just
even
on
mean
the spot,
nothing. On the spot. She writes me a check, and it's the Classica Studios. I'm like, dang it. I don't even have a business license. Like, what am I going to do?
Dude, that is awesome.
So that is why I started my first ever company I had to register it with the Secretary of State, and it was called Classica Studios.
That is awesome.
From there, it became Bella Star Creative. That name because I am from Belgrade, Serbia.
Okay.
So, and then Star, my mom's name, her name is Zvezdana, and it kind of means shining star.
That's freaking awesome.
And she's very creative. And
now,
so
is
I
that
named it
brand
after
still
her.
around? The Bella Star?
So, so this is my progression, right? So, COVID happens.
Yep.
My business explodes because everything went digital.
All marketing. You're talking all marketing.
Yeah, everything went digital. And so, like, people were trying to revamp their websites. You know, people that were brick and mortar were trying to do more digital
100%.
just because, you know, you have to wear a mask or
Everything became online at that point.
100%. And so I got so busy that I had to do something. So I sold shares. I sold my company to a company called Market Force Media, and I became their commercial side of the business. They did real estate marketing, and I did commercial marketing. Bought out both of the partners.
Really?
Like a year later. And started Creative Brands International
From that company.
from that company.
Wow.
So, and then
COVID was really good then.
dude,
For you. For that.
and I
that
feel
business.
awful saying it, but COVID was the best thing that could have ever happened to me.
Honestly, my wife almost died from COVID, so it was tough for us. But in the same space, it was amazing for us from a business standpoint. Like, we do online stuff. That's the collective. What we do, brakes, helmets, cards, all of that went to the moon during COVID because everybody was sitting at home and they had nothing to do. And a lot of these guys started going back through their old cards and you know, kind of reliving that childhood. And it just started from there. And I mean, honestly, dude, we could have sold water to a fish during COVID, and it was amazing.
It would have done really well.
Yes, 100%.
It was incredible.
So like I said, I look up to you. I think you're highly successful. You've obviously, you know, beat a lot of odds coming from where you came from and the troubles in school and figuring out what you wanted to do. What do you think is different about you that makes you successful?
So I have a principle that I live by, and it's, you know, to work with me, you have to possess three things. You have to possess creativity, integrity, and dependability. If one of those is not in the formula, then the formula doesn't work. Like, I don't care if you are an incredible graphic designer, artist. If I can't depend on you, or if you are a liar, I can't work with you.
Okay.
Because that makes the business suffer. And I think that was one of, like, right now I'm surrounded with people that are just so freaking smart. One of my girls that, her name's Emily. She's been with me since the beginning of everything.
Wow.
And she is just like, she's a social media manager.
Yeah.
And I really think she can run my company. She's that efficient and that good at her job.
And that's an anomaly.
Don't get any ideas.
That's an anomaly because in today's day and age, like, finding somebody that has all of those qualities and is willing to work is hard. Like, how do you find that many good people around you?
Yeah, honestly, like, it's, to me, everything that I do is relationships. And I've always tried to form relationships in a positive manner. I won't down talk or downplay people. I won't talk down to people because I don't know what they've been through.
100%.
But I know for a fact that in some form or fashion, I can help them to strive. And inadvertently, what happens, gratitude is a lot of times 100% payout.
Oh, yes.
And so they actually, you know, bend backwards to make sure that you end up being successful.
Well, I think when you show that gratitude and you're pure and you're genuine, they run through a brick wall for you.
Absolutely.
It's like being a good coach or anything else. It's that leadership ability that you have. I knew you had it the minute I met you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, me and Aaron, I joked about it earlier, but me and Aaron talked when you left yesterday, and it's not often that you meet people that are above that expectation, right? So, I mean, we put you on a normal playing field. I knew about you. I didn't know a ton about you. This is the first time we've ever met. I've physically known you for 48 hours.
Yeah.
But you carry yourself well, you're genuine, and like I said, and I want to ask you this: why me? But we'll get to that in a second. You did all of this. You drove here because you saw something in and to me, I feel like the world's got what, 6 billion people in it. So and you watch a lot of podcasts and a lot of videos. So I'm sure that there are people out there that have that same magnetic, personality, whatever. Why me? Like, there were so many other things you could have done, or so many other people you could have done it with.
Yeah, honestly, Joey, like I got to tell you, there's people in the world that will do things for others on face value and it looks good, but they behind your back, it's a whole nother story. And you're an example of an individual that literally will bend backwards for people that, whether it's money or whatever. I remember one night we were playing poker, and this.
Oh, I don't know where this one's going.
This freaking guy, like, he wrapped up a big bill.
Yeah.
And people were complaining, and Joey was the only one actually. The first one. I think I said something too, but
yeah, you did. You piped up.
You're the only one that said, "Man, I'll pay who I ever need to pay because that's the right thing to do."
You just,
that's that integrity thing.
100%.
Obviously, you have creativity. Obviously, like listening to Aaron's podcast, listening to Brett's podcast, you have reliability because they wouldn't be here. So to me, you met the criteria for me to do business with, and really, like. That says a lot. The way that you carry yourself around people, around your family. Like, I've seen several stories that you've posted on social media just about, family and how you're growing and who you are. And that's really impressive because you haven't come from a great situation. I don't know if that's,
I haven't discussed it yet, but no, you're absolutely right, and it's so weird. We talked about relationships earlier, and the truth is, the most fruitful things I've ever done in my life are relationships based. Yeah. They have nothing, the money, all of the other things that other people chase. Like, yes, you got to pay your light bill, and you got to, that stuff is important, but it isn't the chase for me. It's the way that I impact people, and I've always told my wife this, and Aaron and other people know this. The most important currency to me is love, right? Yeah. And it's not necessarily from a man to a woman. It's from a stranger. It's people that you meet. You can be so impactful and not even realize it. I told a story on the last episode, or maybe 2 episodes ago, about the tip that was left for me. Like, those guys will never know what they did for me.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I have given that $160 back a fucking 1,000 times, but it's because they did that for me that I'm doing it for somebody else.
That's right.
And even what you're doing for me now is inspiring because without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. It may have happened at some point, but I guarantee you it wouldn't be as nice as this, and it wouldn't have happened now. And not to get all religious, but I feel like God puts people in the right position at the right times, man. And he puts on your plate what you can handle. And for whatever reason, he blessed me with a relationship with you. And here we are with the Cruz Report, Yeah. So
I 100% believe that. And I am pretty religious. Well, I don't want to say religious. I that term to me rubs me the wrong way. I am a follower of Christ, and that's what I tell people. Yeah. Just because that's what it is for me. It's a personal thing. It's not just about, I grew up in a country where is 99% Orthodox, and
which is Catholic, right? Is that what, or Christian?
No, it's Orthodox Church. So you got the Catholic Church, Protestants, and then Orthodox, Protestants, and Catholics.
Okay.
And 99% of the country is Orthodox, and you would have the Pope stand with the president. So it had nothing to do with religion, but it had everything to do with status and power.
Okay.
And so to me, the word religion, it has really kind of taken a bad vibe, because to me, like I'm a follower of Christ because I'm not a religion. I believe what I believe.
Right.
But it's not for my government. It's not for anything else.
Right. It's here.
It's here.
Yeah.
100%. So
Jinx.
Shut up. I quit. I'm leaving.
No, man, I love that. And I'm not, I'm foul mouthed. So I'm sure that there are people that look at me and are like, there's no way. But like, man, I pray every night. I pray after, and this started after I lost my brother in 2023 in February. I really, and I'll get into my story, but in a matter of about a year and a half, me and my wife, we have no biological kids together. So Abby and Dawson, I've taken them on since they were 5 and 3. And so we went through in vitro. We did all of that stuff. And we got pregnant with twins. And we made it all the way to 10 weeks, and they both passed.
Oh, wow.
So that was a blow. And then my grandma dies, and then my brother, the only guy I grew up with, like outside of Wendy, the only other person that would know me in and out. You know what I mean?
So I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Yeah.
You asked me earlier what I respect about you. You had every right to quit.
100%. And I wanted to, and I was angry.
And you did, but you didn't quit.
Yeah. I was pissed. I was why me? I was God, why? All of these things. But what I had to understand, man, is everything is a blessing when I wake up in the morning. Every kiss that I give my wife, every time that my kid gets somewhere safe. And because he didn't bless me in those realms doesn't mean that he's treating me like Job or he's taking it out on me. Some things are going to happen that we can't fully understand or explain. But I knew after praying a lot and going through a lot of emotions that I am still blessed. Yeah, some bad things have happened. Big deal. You know what I mean? Like, I've already beat a lot of odds. I came from a single mom. We had it, pretty rough at times, but I'm not one of those that looks back and is sad for that stuff.
Yeah.
I am me because that happened.
Yeah.
My wife and our love is stronger because that happened.
Yeah.
Me and my mom are closer because of what happened to my brother. So there is always a silver lining. Sometimes it's hard to see, but no, man, God has blessed me so much.
And I don't know how you go from, like, you had those things happen to you in your life, and it was all relationships, and your relationships sometimes sucked, or bad things in the relationships happened. So it made you work so much more
100%
in your relationship. Like, even with your customers, like, even when I saw you with the kids, that they're showing you cars, man, there's times that I would have blown those kids off. But you take the initiative to, oh, yeah, man, that's cool. Like,
I was that kid.
Do you understand how big of an influence on that child's life is?
No. I mean, I hope, like I said, I never finished that thought earlier. When I die, the only thing you really leave is memories, right?
Yeah.
The car, the money, whatever you leave monetarily or physically is nothing.
Yeah.
The only thing that'll live on is the memories in their head. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, man, I've made enough impacts where people can get around and share some really cool stories one day. That's really how I live my life.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm on my way. And I feel like this is something I've always wanted to do for that exact reason, because somebody out there needs it. Somebody out there needs a laugh. Somebody out there wants to find out about cards. They want to see us suck at golf, and they want to have real conversations about life. You know what I mean? Because you can help in so many facets.
With no cussing.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
I'm just.
I mean, listen. I'm a Christ believer with a foul mouth, man.
That's my father-in-law's a pastor, and he has a T-shirt that says, "I love Jesus, but I cuss a little."
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome. Well, Philip, man, I can't say thank you enough. Genuinely.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great relationship. Creative Brands is, like I said, is our only sponsor. If you find one thing about me, I don't give a shit if this has 0 viewers ever or if it goes to the moon. I'm loyal, brother. And the Creative Brands will never go away from this podcast.
Yes, sir. I love it.
I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Guys, gals, ladies, and Aaron. I don't know what to call him. This is the Cruz Report. Thank you guys so much. Again, brought to you by Creative Brands. This is episode number 3. Check us out next week when we have a surprise guest. Thank you.